Welcome to the Grow Bridge. I am Ivo-Castillo, your host here in Miami. This podcast is for entrepreneurs and leaders with strong ties to Latin America who want to understand how Anglo founders think about growth, leadership, and decision making, and how to apply their mindset in your own business. Today, I'm excited to have Adrian Newman. He is the founder of Numerouno Web Solutions. Hello, Adrian. How are you?
I'm good, Ivo. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Well, first, let's start. Why Número Uno? Why that name?
So when we started, we were the digital marketing department of a financial publishing company up here in just near Toronto, Ontario. And we were working with, we were doing this and we were trying to figure out what the best name would be when we decided to offer our services to other people. So we wanted to incorporate a business name. And to be upfront, there's three of us that were involved in the launch. And two of them really liked numero uno. And the reason they liked it was because it meant number one, right? Like to be top of the search engines, to be top of the Google results page. So the vote was 2-1. I was to be upfront. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I didn't want the name. I'm used to it now, and I like the name now. But that's what would happen. So we said, hey, where do you want to be in the search rankings? You want to be numero uno. You want to be number one. And that's how we got the name.
Can you share a little about your background, please? And how is your role in Número Uno?
So my background is I started in 1997 as a direct mail copywriter. So I learned how to write advertising for direct mail, learning how to, for different products, financial products, health products, business opportunity products. And then we grew that. I was able to learn more about marketing, a little bit about database marketing. I was involved heavily in email marketing, in the infancy of email marketing, when email marketing was just still very, very young, even before like canned spam legislation really took off, and up here, Canadian anti-spam legislation here called Castle. So I learned more about how to do the creative side of marketing, how to be able to write copy that sells, to write copy that engages people, to write copy that gets people to do something. And that's been a natural progression over the way we do things here at Numerouno, because we're into content marketing. We're into creating content that entices somebody to do something on their website. So I'm sure you've heard about conversion metrics, being able to convert somebody once they come to your website. And that's how we like to differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. So that we don't just get more people to your website, but we make sure that you're putting the best foot forward when it comes to converting that person, maybe as a visitor, into a subscriber, or into an appointment, or into, an actual paying customer.
And tell us who buys your service and who uses day to day.
So the majority of our customers are small to mid-sized businesses. And we're talking about, companies that maybe have a staff anywhere between 5 to 10 people, maybe up to 20, depending on the business. They're bringing in usually between $1 million to $3 million in revenue, maybe up to $5 million. And we do have some smaller companies, some solopreneurs that we're doing work for. But our ideal customers, and the ones that we tend to have, as far as our price point goes, and as far as the service that we provide, are those kinds of customers. 10 to 20 staff, 3 to 5 million 1 to 5 million annual revenue, and usually somebody whose sole job is in charge of marketing. That's usually our sweet spot.
And what is the industry of these small businesses? What are the industries?
Yeah, so it's funny because we never niched down to a specific industry. So we've had and have everything from like lawyers and dental offices, dance studios, education companies, real estate. mortgage brokers. We've done banks before and financial advisors. We've done bakeries and other food services. What we've noticed recently is that we are starting to develop a niche in the warehousing logistics space. We do have a few customers that are in that industry, not just in the actual warehouse and logistics, but also in, for example, in forklift repair, sales and rental. We have some companies that do, setting up all the equipment inside a warehouse. So that's, if I would say we were niching somewhere where our number one industry is, it's in that kind of warehousing logistics fulfillment industry.
Good. And to give a context, how do you manage your services in terms of price tiers, and how do you offer? Do you offer a specific type of services? You offer packages services?
Mhm.
How that works?
So we offer monthly subscription services for our SEO plans. So
Okay.
search engine optimization. So what we do is we work on monthly. We create content monthly. We do backlinking monthly. We update static pages monthly, and we do reporting every month. And then the tiers are usually for the amount of keywords that they want to rank for or that they want to focus on. As far as, so it could be 25 keywords up to 100 or more keywords that they want to rank on. Now, since AI's come around, things have expanded a bit. So instead of just saying, okay, we want to rank for one specific keyword, what that actually essentially does is it's actually more like 20 keyword because there's so many variants and we want to make sure that we're piggybacking on the AI. Plus, we do other subscription-based services. So, for example, monthly social media management, monthly management and optimization of the Google Ads campaign. And then we also have one-off services. So we will create a brand new website for our customers. So if somebody's never had a website before, we do it right from scratch. It could be something as easy as a landing page, a one-pager. It could be something where it's a simple 6-page website, or it could be something really big. Like we've done ones that have had over 300 different product SKUs, and it was an e-commerce website. So we have a full web development team. We have a full content marketing team. We have a full SEO and social strategy team as well.
And what shifts do you see in SEO and pay search this year?
So for SEO, I think the most obvious choice is of AI. Um, SEO is changing with regards to reporting with metrics for success. So in the past, you would always look at where you're ranking on specific keywords. Am
Yeah.
I the first? Am I on page one? Am I on position one for SEO? That is completely out the window now. One of the biggest changes, of course, is AI. The AI overviews are taking over the top position on Google. People are using ChatGPT, Perplexity, Copilot, Gemini to get their answers that they want. So being in that quote unquote number one organic position isn't as important as it used to be. It's also important now for local. If you're, and we do have clients that are local, they have a specific local business. They want people to call them for near me searches, like our dental office or our beauty clinics or any other business that we have that's specific. So, specific to a location. So you really have to leverage the map pack. You really have to leverage that local SEO, that Google business page. Completely different than it used to be, even 2 years ago, where really it was all about just getting your website to the top of the search. And then as far as the paid search goes, there's so many different tools that Google's adding in, with their AI, Performance Max, and everything like that. It's just always changing. To be upfront, we're pushing away from paid search just because of the expense. It is a big, big budget now. The budgets are going way up. The CPCs are going way up, which is, of course, increasing the CPAs. You have to be really on it. And I think what's it's doing for our customers, at least, ones that are limited on budget, that are smaller customers that don't have, you know, $50,000 to $100,000 a month to spend on budget, it's really affecting them. So that's what I think is essentially happening within there, is that being able to leverage the organic side of things and being able to be the top answer for the questions that people are typing into the AI is the key to success now.
That is a great question. So it is focusing in the organic and how to get into the AI search is
Yeah.
what you mean?
Yeah, I think, and I think first of all, organic was always the more cost-effective, long-term solution for any business looking to grow online. It always took longer, and it's always going to take longer because you're having to create, your experience, your authority, your expertise, your trustworthiness, all in there, and it takes a while to do that, right? Like, it takes putting up content and making sure everything's current, making sure your website's running well, make sure your Google business page is updated, and even doing some social, because it's all connected, right? Even your social signals will help affect your rankings and where you're shown on the Google results. And then, of course, paid search is a big spend, but it can get things done quickly. So like I always tell my clients who want to spend on Google, I'm like, look, if you're ready to spend on paid search, here's what I would budget. Like I would always tell them, like, you some of them would want to dip their toes in for, $10 a day, and I don't recommend doing something that small. If you have a big budget, like you said, $50,000 a month to spend on Google ads, I think it's worth it because obviously the ROI is going to be there for you. But I think for the best bang for a buck for a small to medium-sized business, like I said, revenues between under 1 million to around 5 million, going on social and doing organic is going to be more beneficial in the long run than Google ads will be in the short term.
Perfect. I understand. Being in this industry, marketing for small businesses, tell us about what is working well in terms for you as a business and what is frustrating in growth your business.
So if I look at what's working well, so Ivor, are you talking about like what's working well for my customers or working as well for me?
For you, talking about you as entrepreneur.
Yeah. So what's working well for me right now is a lot of the social and the networking that I'm doing right now. So I look at everything holistically. So I look at what I do for our own SEO and social media, and then actually going out and doing things to get more networking. So when I say that, I mean I go to networking events and I do podcasts to try to promote my business. Which then I can reuse this content and any content that I do online, whether it's a blog post that I can then turn into a script for a video or vice versa. I do YouTube videos once a week. And that video script goes and becomes a blog post. And then also that video that I do gets chopped up into shorts and gets turned into Instagram posts. It gets turned into LinkedIn posts, Facebook posts, some TikTok videos. So what's working for me right now is a consistent production of content on a daily basis for my business. And the amount of time that it takes me as somebody who's doing it myself, because I'm the face of my company and I like to put my face out there and do the videos myself, anywhere between 15 minutes to 45 minutes per day. So if we even take that down to half an hour a day, it's probably taking me a total of 2.5 to 3 hours per week of work to get my word out. Okay. As far as frustrations go, it's connected. My frustration is when I have clients that I like to say, hey, you need to be doing this. We give you, we'll give you the tools, we'll help you with things. But really, when it comes to building your business, we can do so much. But once you add that personal element to it, where you have somebody who is maybe the owner of the business or who's the president of the business or even employees of the business creating content on their social media, doing things to help us, approving content on time, agreeing to update their website. That's where the frustrations lie, I find that, and it's not their fault, especially now with, the economy in the past few years has been really, really volatile and sometimes tough. They're too busy working in their business as opposed to on their business. And it's important, I feel, for small, mid-sized businesses
Mhm.
to be working on their business, to go out there and try to grow, to go out there and try to promote, market. Even if they hire somebody to do it, an agency to do it, they need to be active with that agency. And instead of just sitting there on the factory floor, packing boxes or doing whatever, they need to be out there growing the business.
That is a great advice. Thinking about your clients,
Mhm.
which metric matters the most to them? That maybe is not the right metric, but
Mhm.
is what is the common thing that you see?
Yeah. Where am I ranking on Google? That is one of so
Really?
yeah, and sometimes Google will plateau. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you will we just recently had a report where we saw the rankings plateau. They stayed at this certain level so for months, but conversions have been going up. And I feel like that's the most important thing is that the conversions are where you should be looking. What's the number one thing you want to get from somebody on your website? Like I said, do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to walk into your physical location? That's a conversion, right? Do you want them to download a special report, subscribe to your e-letter, or even like I said, buy a product that's an e-commerce site? That's the most important thing. You might not have anybody click on your website. There's something called zero-click searches. That means they're clicking on your Google Business profile, or they're clicking to call from the Google Business profile or from your Google ad. They're seeing you show up in the AI overview, and they're clicking there instead. So you're in the people also ask section. You're also in the image pack. You're in the map pack. It doesn't matter. So what's happening is Google rankings are kind of stagnating a bit or even dropping. But conversion rates, people are actually calling you, might be going up. So we had a client recently that said, I noticed that we're really not moving anywhere on the Google rankings, but all my conversions have gone up. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's because of what we've been doing. Your Google business profile, your socials, right? We're putting calls to action on different parts of the internet for you. And it's taking away from people going to your website, but it's also getting you more business.
Correct. And
So for me, B2B, LinkedIn has been one of my better channels. I've also joined associations before where I can speak at networking events, whether they're, you know, live, virtual. I like to go to specific trade shows or conferences that I can go to, like the small business conferences, like have a booth at the small business conference. What I don't recommend, and this is something that somebody used to tell me to do, and I haven't seen a very good results with that, is people going to other industry conferences to try to go to the booths and to try to pitch sales there. That to me is a big no-no. And the reason is because when people are presenting and exhibiting, they want a good customers to come to them. The last thing they want is for a
it's
sales
just
rep to come to them and try to pitch them. Here I've spent, however many thousands of dollars on my exhibit here, and now you want to pitch me for free? It's a little bit insulting. So I don't
yeah.
recommend that. So my strict advice would be B2B, LinkedIn. Get your company page set up, get it optimized, produce content, post valuable content whenever you can. And I don't like to say daily, and I don't like to give specific scheduling. When you have something valuable to say, when you have something on your in your industry that's news, in your company that's news, post about it. I guarantee you probably could post every day. There's things happening in your industry. Whoever's watching this right now and they're having something, they're part of a specific industry. Something's happening in your industry right now. You could comment on your social media that provides value. Don't be afraid to exude the confidence of your industry knowledge on a platform like LinkedIn. It will position you as an expert, which could then result in a potential customer down the road.
Correct. And just talking more a little bit as you as entrepreneur. Uh, if you have to fix a bottleneck that slows your wins today, what is it and why?
If I had to fix a bottleneck that slows my wins,
Mm-hmm.
I think the bottleneck is always indecision and inability to execute. So what I mean by that, so me and my colleagues here at the company, we have a motto that we got from one of our when we were doing the publishing company way back when, from one of our competitors actually. Our competitors, which was another publishing company, had always, and they even wrote a book about it called Ready, Fire, Aim. Okay. And that was, if an idea came about, we would try to implement it first before doing anything else with research or anything. We would start the execution part of that idea first before worrying about all the details. Okay. And what I mean by that is sometimes people will tend to get so caught up in all the little things that they don't execute on the actual idea itself. So they think, okay, I need to do this first and this first and this first and this first and this first. And look, it's not like building a house. You don't have to have your foundation locked in there and this concrete set and everything else before you start putting up the other stuff. You can start doing things right away. And I think the problem with a lot of people now and entrepreneurs is that they get so caught up in the little details of perfection. Okay. This needs to be perfect before I can launch it, before they do anything. And that to me is going to hold you up. Um, I always take the route of start working on things, start maybe doing something, and then start refining it, right? Realize, oh, that was a mistake, and then fix it, right? The other thing too is learning from other people's mistakes, talking to other people. Like I said, networking, reading books, reading websites, listening to podcasts, finding out what other people did wrong so that way you don't make the same mistake, and then taking their advice and their previous experience and implementing it in your own business.
That's great advice. And you, as numero uno, how do you want the business to be in the next 12 months? How do you see it?
In the next 12 months, it's a good question because we're only starting. We've only been here now. It's only February. So it's 11 months to go in this year. But I think what I would like to be able to do more is to be more proactive a little bit with my existing clients than I am. I like to give them advice on their websites, on their marketing, on their social media and everything like that. But I think I need to be a little bit more forthcoming with the advice and a little bit more, how do I say, more strong in my delivery for it. So what I'd like to see is all of my clients that I have right now be totally, I guess, knowledgeable on how well they're doing. So instead of them saying, I'm not only ranking number 7 here on this keyword, or I'm doing this, that they know that their conversions are what matters. So they're saying to me, my goodness, my sales have gone up in the past 2 months, thanks to this, or you've given me this government contract. We had a client once that told me that they got a government contract because of somebody finding them online, and they wound up getting a really big business from it. That's what I'd like to see our company do in the next 12 months, is to really, really grow our existing customer base's satisfaction of our product and of the service that we do, and the understanding that, yes, they are doing well. Because I want to say straight out, the majority, if not all of our clients, we've helped. Like, I know for a fact, if I look at our benchmarks, if I look at how well things are going, SEO goes like this, right? You know that, right? Like online, it's
Correct.
never a straight line up.
No.
But I can tell you that from clients that have started with us, and we got clients that have been with us since day one, we can see that they have slowly gone up year over year in the exposure they've had and in the business that they've done through, obviously there's been downturns, COVID, right? The economy, but all in all, that's what I want to see. I want to see more wins for my clients.
This brings me to the next question. What did you try that did not work?
Oh my gosh.
And what did you learn from it?
How much have? What it was, so we tried, so one of the biggest thing, if I think about everything we tried, one of the biggest mistakes that we did once is we decided, this is many years ago, to do a complete pricing restructure of our services. We pared down the services that we provided for a lower price to try to get people in at a lower price point, okay, than what we were currently offering. Reducing services. What we learned from that was, yes, we got a lot of people in the door. We also got a lot of unhappy clients. And the reason is because a reduced package on price meant a reduced service. And reduced service meant reduced results. We increased the amount of clients that we got at the time, but we weren't giving them the best results because we reduced it. So it's just, imagine like this. Imagine, if you're offering a service where you paint houses, okay?
Mhm.
And you decide to cut the amount of people painting, you cut the quality of the paint and the quality of the equipment, but you reduce your price to say, we can do it now for, honestly, like 1/8 of the price. And you get a lot of people. But then what happens is you don't have enough people doing the work, right? Because you've now reduced your price. You've got lower quality product, okay? Lower service, probably taking more time to do it regardless. And you've got now more unhappy customers.
Yeah.
And what I realize now is the classic thing, you get what you pay for. We're not the cheapest. We're not the most expensive agency with regards to digital marketing in our area. What we do is, when I did our pricing and when we figured out what we can do, was to give the best value for what we charge for what a customer can get. So that way, every one of our customers is happy at the end of every month. Maybe not every month, but at least at the end of every year, because like I said, SEO is an ongoing thing. It takes a while. That they can say, look, you know what? I spent X amount of dollars with you, but the ROI was worth it, and I didn't skimp. So I guess, my biggest lesson is, don't drop prices just to get more customers in, because you're going to drop your quality.
And if you could fix something in your business, what it would be?
There's a lot. It's never good enough. I think what I would like to improve is the amount of time that I get to spend with my clients personally. And I know there's a lot of AI out there, and there's VAs that you can create, and you can do a lot of different things. But for me, the one-on-one with a client, every time I get to go to a client's location, or they come here, or we have a long video call, I usually can glean something from them that I can then take and use to help improve the service that we're giving them. I really wish I could spend more time with my clients. I'm a very busy person. I work, like I said, I do work in the business. I do my own social media, my own promotions, right? Because like I said, I'm the face of the company. So I wish my thing is I wish I could spend a lot more time with my clients than I do.
And just a final question as entrepreneur, what is your mindset? What is that keep you going every day in your business?
I think the one thing that keeps me going is I think really it is the communication factor that I get with all the people that I work with, whether it's coworkers, whether it's customers, whether it's potential business partners. I really like the sharing of ideas. I like to think of myself as a very creative person. I like coming up with ideas for people, sitting and reviewing my customers' SEO reports, then going on their website, looking at something and saying, you know what, I got an idea. Let's try this, and calling them about it and say, look, here's something you should try. Like, do this. What do you think of doing this? Try this out. And sometimes they look at me like I'm crazy. And sometimes they say, you know what? No, we're not going to do that. And other times they might say, okay, we'll give it a shot. And when it works, it's so satisfying. It's satisfying when you see, as a marketer, if you heard of A/B split testing, when you test something out and it works. And if it doesn't work, you learn from it. But if it does work, it's like you feel so good about it. Like it's one of the best feelings in the world. So that's what keeps me going is the ability to be creative with my clients, to come up with new ideas to market for them. Like if they want a new website, or even if they don't want a new website, pitching them and saying, hey, I've got an idea to change something on your social media. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? That's what keeps me going.
And when you grow your company, how do you manage that? What is the first you think? What is the aspect of your business that you consider the most? Is your team? How many people do you have? Or is the finance? Or is the new product or new services? What is
It-
the most take your time off in order to work on your business?
yeah. I think if I got your question right, Ivor, is that I think that the number one thing is being able to leverage new ideas in the industry to
Mhm.
then be able to grow with the industry. So for me, like, yeah, having a good team is important, right? The people that we have here that do all the work, do all the strategy and everything like that, and help with that are fantastic. And I think that's always a great thing to have is to build a good team. I think, like I said before, building a business is based on leveraging the idea, leveraging this to figure out what empty space is out there that you can fill for your customer or your potential customer. So if there's a potential customer out there that needs something filled, you have that answer for them. I like to think that digital marketing is pretty much for every single business out there to a certain extent. Some businesses, you know, they might not see what they think is great results, but if they did it, they would see some sort of growth, especially if they're doing it from scratch. So yeah, I think the best thing to do is just, and on the finance side of things, growing into getting into new emerging markets is important too. Keeping your eye on what's happening, and learning and seeing what you can do to maybe, help out in that market. So it's a very good question, Igor.
Thank you. Well, Adrian, one can give us at our audience one advice about growing business, entrepreneurship, or I don't know, anything that you have learned all these years of experience.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, there's no such thing as an overnight success.
Okay.
You need to work hard. You need to work a lot. You need to be consistent with your work. I feel like sometimes we spread ourselves thin. We come up with new ideas. We get distracted. Maybe have a little bit of ADHD. Trying to work on 15 different things at once to try to grow. If you find something in your business that works or that you think is going to work, put 100% if you can, as much as possible, into that idea to watch it grow. Then be consistent with it. Be patient with it. Some people expect things to just happen like this, right? They see this person start their business. 2 years later, they've grown so much. And then you're here in year 3 and you haven't hit their point. Comparison is a good motivator, but don't sit there and compare and be brought down by the fact that they've hit higher peaks than you right now. Stay with it. Stay consistent. Don't deviate. Learn and ask people who know more than you for advice.
That's a great advice. Thank you very much, Adrian, for
Thank you.
today's show.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody. See you next episode.